Namaste, angels. This is the weekly reading through the 26th. I just went to start it and I had to turn the camera off because right as I started it, I got this really high pitched sound in my left ear, which means that there was a higher vibration here trying to communicate with me. So I was like, okay, wait, hang on, guys. And I was like, you know what? Just turn the camera off. So now we're going to try to go and I'll share some stuff that I've been seeing. With the dice, we're starting with buy shoes, which I think can be literal for somebody. You're getting a job that has like a dress code. So it's not going to just be shoes. Like you're going to need, I don't want to say like a whole wardrobe, but you're going to need like a different style of dress than maybe what you're otherwise used to wearing, whatever that's supposed to mean. Let's say, what's that insurance place where they wear the khakis with the commercial with the guy? There used to be a white guy, now it's a black guy, which is totally weird. You guys know the one. I don't know why I'm having this mental block. But anyway, the guy, he has to wear khakis, right, in a blue shirt. So it's something like that is what I'm getting for someone who will watch this video. You're going to need particular things for this job that you're getting. So there's buy shoes. For other people, buy shoes might be literal too. Maybe we're supposed to be, people are getting their tax refunds, people are getting school refunds, and maybe you're always doing stuff for other people or you're always paying bills, and the universe is trying to say, do something for you this time too. Then we got stay in bed, which I'm getting a lot of literal feelings from these. I think for this one, stay in bed could be like, when you wake up and you're like, I'm not really done with my sleep. I really should lay back down for another 15 minutes at least or whatever. Nap, or in midday, you feel tired and you're like, I should take a nap, but you don't. We keep pushing ourselves and pushing ourselves. I think that that's what this is. It's here next to quickie. So for some, it can be literal in that sense, in terms of intimacy. If you have an opportunity to be, intimate, and that's what you're wanting to do, the universe is saying to take it rather than, say, oh no, I have to go to work, or oh, no, I have to do whatever it is that we otherwise fill our time with doing. Also, quickie could be with regard to the amount of time that you stay in bed in general, even if you're not being intimate, in terms of that nap or, hitting the snooze button or something. And then email, quickie could go with email too. And again, keeping messages short and sweet and to the point and not going on and boring people with essays and stuff. Sometimes we can just sort of talk too much and it ends up not coming across the way that we intended. So like sticking to the point, sticking to the facts, and getting the messages out. Now, Spirit says, forget it. So something that we were concerning ourselves with that is not very important. It may have seemed important. Spirit says, forget it. Let it go. We got eat cake. This is happy birthday to the Pisceans. My sister's birthday was yesterday. She's a Cuspian. So like yesterday was the first day of Pisces or last day of Aquarius, however you want to view it. She identifies as a Pisces. So eat cake. There's other celebrations too. February is the one of the biggest months for engagements and weddings because of Valentine's Day. So we could have some of those, some anniversaries and things like that. Whatever you're celebrating, eat cake. Or if you're just in the mood to eat cake, Spirit says go ahead and eat cake. Then we have stay in bed again. Told ya. And I'm on top. And I think this is, again, about prioritizing yourself. Remember what I said about the shoes? Like, do something for you. I'm on top. I'm at the top of this list. I'm putting myself at least on top. I'm declaring that I'm on top. With the cards, we're starting with Krishna, devotion. Trust your spiritual guidance. Your commitment has been recognized. You are loved unconditionally. Followed by Cernunnos and life force. Express your driving passion. Sensual and sexual powers are increased. Maybe that's why I was feeling that intimacy might actually be literal for some people this week. I'm getting real strong like Capricorn energy from this too, which may be because there's a few planets actually located there. Mercury was there until recently, as I think I mentioned in the Leo moon reading that I did, but Mars, Venus, Saturn all remain there. So they could be driving some of us based on, I guess, our own personal astrology, natal astrology. Ooh. I had said that I might do this reading the other day, speaking of the Leo moon reading, after it and post it. But it's such a struggle to get things up with YouTube these days that I was like, you know what, let's see, let's let this Leo reading rock and see how it performs, whatever. Sure enough, of course, it was still the typical shadow ban. Not surprised. We got Joan of Arc, voice of truth. Stand strong, focus on your purpose, release fear of persecution, and speak your truth. Mercury has moved into Aquarius, so it's like a lot of air on air. There's definitely going to be some truth being spoken. And Aquarians and Geminis, which Mercury rules, and also Virgos, which Mercury rules, we don't bite our tongues. We definitely will speak up. So people are going to be hearing things that they may or may not want to hear. Also, Archangel Michael, trusting heaven, you are safe. Angels, stand close, surrender your concerns, and allow a miracle to occur. And we get more of this swords energy from him too. At least I do. Look, he has his sword right here, as the leader of the army. There's his sword in front of him. With this deck, we are beginning with death. And some people are still afraid of death and I guess the card can be a little bit triggering or traumatic for some people. But you know what? It's almost never about actual death, and is really more so about something coming to an end, something no longer existing in the way that it had before. Something or someone even no longer being there for you in the way they had before, which is not necessarily a negative thing. I mean, it could be a good thing too. Especially if it means sometimes for us, sometimes we need like a motivation to do things on our own. And again, it doesn't have to mean that somebody passed away. So let me think of a better example. Young person, maybe 20s or something. You might still be used to your parents, if you're lucky, doing things for you. And, perhaps they have to start doing some things differently for themselves. Like they get a job or they enter a relationship. And so now you, but sort of by force, are made to do more things for yourself. And that's not a bad thing for a 20-something-year-old to begin to, adult, get some practice at adulting. I definitely am one of those people and parents who believes at delaying it as long as possible. I'm not one of those kick your kids out at 18 people. I think particularly people of color and Black people and Black Americans, even more specifically, have done that for way too long. And way too often. And so we like sort of force birds out of the nest before they're truly ready to fly on their own. So as long as you're able to avoid that as a parent or to stay with your parents or guardian, whoever that may be, as a young person, I say go for it. But at the same time, eventually we do need to all spread our wings, as they say. And so that would be like a situation where it's not the end of the world. It's not a horrible thing, but it's definitely a change we're going to have to adjust to, and that's what death is about. Although I say all that, and then looking at what's over here, I do think that for some, this can have to do with a death, not that's going to occur now, but one that already happened that has resulted in some sort of inheritance or legacy or both, something having to do with the lineage that may have taken like a long time and been very difficult to work through. and may have required a lot of work for you. Felt like you had a lot on your plate. You just had to take over a lot of responsibility while this thing was happening. But finally, I think that change is coming through, where we will be getting some sort of inheritance, or there's something going on with like heritage, family. And I think this came up in the Leo reading also, now that I think about it. I don't remember exactly what I was saying about that, but it feels like kind of like a deja vu right now. So anyway, the next card is the Six of Pentacles. It is in reverse, so I'll start to shuffle these. But some of the things that I've been seeing has to do maybe with this. In terms of the death and letting people go and things changing. Because I'm really feeling like, how do I want to put this? Oh, like for me, for example, with the shadow band, that there are people around us, they may not be immediately around us, that have just been watching and not necessarily wishing us well. And I really feel, and this could be the Mercury and Aquarius energy for me, you know, I'm ruled by Mercury in terms of my sun sign, and I'm an Aquarius like 4 or 5 times over, you know, from Moon to several other placements, Mars and Aquarius, several placements. So this could be that talking. But I've really been getting, as opposed to like praying for these people and wishing them well and all of that, it should really be more of a fuck you. And it's still angelic, okay? Stay with me for a second. More of a fuck you. Even like in the Bible, it says sort of like, you know, things like there's an eye for an eye. And there is, of course, you know, the golden rule that people are supposed to treat you like they treat, like they would want to be treated. So if they haven't been, if they've been wishing you negative energy and stuff, then you have the right to wish that back upon them. And I've really been feeling that right now, like for me personally, I have successfully sort of blocked out, and without any real effort other than, you know, my thoughts and things, because I don't practice, I don't identify as a witch. I don't practice spells on people. I personally don't believe, I don't have any problem with other people doing whatever they believe, but I personally don't believe, for me, in manipulating other people's free will and energy and whatever, you know. So I don't do stuff like that. I don't do spells on people and things like that. And again, I'm not knocking it for those who do. It's just not something that I believe in, for me. But I can send people, you know, with my thoughts still, again, send people's negative energy back to them. And I think I've been successful at doing that, with the exception of maybe like the shadow banning. Like that's like the only thing that I experienced that I probably, you know, if I did identify as a witch and I did believe in doing spells, probably would have been doing, you know, on other people, maybe other creators or something, that I feel have been not wishing me the best. But I'm feeling like right now, those people are going to get back. Those people are going to get their own stuff back. I just feel like that's what the universe is doing now. Like that's going to be the trend. And those people who have been wishing you well, wishing you unwell rather, and maybe even actively doing spells and things on you, that now's the time where they're going to be really getting those things that they sent out against other people back on them. And maybe you can even help with your own thoughts and sending it back to them. And feel, wow, you saw me take the 10 of Pentacles and stick it in the middle. It's back on the top of the deck. And sending it back to them again, it's with a positive thing. You can even do that with love, you know, with love, with hope that you see the you know, the evil of your ways. I send you back the negative energy that you sent to me tenfold. May you reap what you sow. Again, all this is stuff that's in the Bible that says that we're supposed to do. People are meant to reap what they sow. So why would we be trying to prevent them from doing so? You know, why would we be trying to hold back on that? I don't know if I really explained everything that I've been saying to you guys so clearly just now. But, you know, we can continue to talk as the reading goes on. So, as I was saying, the Ten of Pentacles has landed back here on the top. Contentment comes from knowing that your finances are secure and your family's material needs are taken care of. It's important to honor traditions and to have pride in your heritage and the accomplishments of your ancestors. There could be something like that happening for somebody too. Maybe somebody that passed away, thinking of the death card again, is going to be granted something, some sort of award, recognition, reward posthumously, and it will be you who has to, you know, sort of take the mantle, take it up, and you know, with pride, and sort of represent for your family and this acknowledgement. You have the Ace of Cups underneath it. So maybe this too may be something that's like a long time coming, and that you'll be, you know, your family will be very happy about. Falling in love with a resurgence of a relationship, spiritual growth and enhanced intuition, maybe even a new home. This could be about finding out, again, who maybe, you know, that somebody's a member of your family, maybe connecting with other members. And so it's very happy, long lost siblings. And so the person, maybe the parent is dead, but you're still finding out that there are, you know, siblings, there are children, there are cousins, and you're coming together. And it's going to be really meaningful for your family. We have Ace of Swords here behind the Knight of Cups, who's in reverse. May represent an actual water sign in your life, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. And I'm thinking that this Knight of Cups, as well as the Death card with which we started, could also be about the Pluto return. So some of you may know what I'm talking about when I say the Pluto return. Some of you may not. It's definitely something I've been talking about for a long time on my page, on my channel, at least through the community tab. So probably 4 or 5 months ago, I posted on my community tab for the first time about Tuesday, which is February 22nd, 2022. As a matter of fact, we were definitely still in 2021 when I started talking about this. It was probably around October, November. Any case, and here it is, right? It's finally upon us now. So what the big deal is, in addition to it being a day of only twos on the calendar, you know, with February being represented by a 2, the 22nd, and the year 2022, on that day, Pluto will have made its natal return for the country, the United States of America. So, meaning Pluto will be in the same exact position it was in on July 4th, 1776, when the United States of America was born. So what could that mean? Well, I think a lot of really huge, sweeping changes in terms of, and positive changes, the things that we need in terms of, you know, what we've been through as a nation with racial and social justice and issues, you know, involving our monetary system and You know, capitalism versus socialism versus communism. Obviously, this is a capitalist country. You know, so that brings in things like when you start talking about socialism, you start talking about things like, we do have some social programs. We're a capitalist country, but we have some social programs here. But it brings up conversations about things like healthcare, which is huge for a lot of people. I don't know. I think it took Pluto almost 250 years to make this revolution around the sun. So it's a very slow moving planet. So I think there could be a lot of huge changes that will take some time adjusting to, because people and things are not going to exist for us the way they previously did. You know, as I talked about with the death card, things that we used to rely on maybe no longer there, or they exist differently now. And while I think they will exist in a better way, it still can require some transition into the new energy. And I think that too may take some time and require some patience, you know, which can be good for some, and for some, like, okay, we're finally here, we're finally making these changes, let's do it, let's get it done. You know, for others, I'd probably be that kind as an air sign, you know, we're like, let's do it now, let's do it now. But yeah, so I think there's going to be a lot of huge changes, and a national level, which, you know, can extend with a lot of things to a global level, right? Because what we do as a country affects other countries, other nations on the planet. So there's that. But also in terms of our, you know, personal lives, I think, again, these energies are popping up this week, with the 22nd falling this week, because there's going to be changes that we're going to have to adjust to as well. For relationships in specific, with the Knight of Cups, that can be the meaning, actually. The Knight of Cups in love says, well, for singles, it's just really good. You know, same thing as when the Knight of Cups is upright. It's still a super positive card in love, and it's one of those sweep you off your feet cards, if you're single. And it can be so fast, and your head could be spinning so much that you need time to adjust to that. I'm not used to being, you know, loved like this, like a total, you know, that, like that saying, love bombing, right? I'm not used to being loved on so hard, or I'm not used to being treated a particular way. I've told you guys many, many times about my Knight of Wands, I say, and it's funny because I was going to say we weren't in love. I was not in love with him, I can tell you, because I need time. I'm a Gemini, and we like to make sure before we say stuff like that it's the case. But I still, with that, can still say he was the best boyfriend I ever had. And literally from the day I met him, he treated me like a queen, like he said he was going to. He used those words, and he did exactly that. And that can be something that can cause your head to spin if you're not used to it. You know, if other boyfriends or girlfriends or husbands or wives or your parents even, like nobody ever treated you that way, then it can cause your head to spin. But it's a good thing, right? It's positive to be treated that way. So that's the kind of love that can come, particularly for singles with the Knight of Cups. But if you are coupled, what it can mean for you is that there's some aspect or aspects of the relationship that are so like emotionally overwhelming and maybe even taxing on one or both of you that you're feeling emotionally overwhelmed. So of course that requires change. You have to take some sort of action. Nights for me are about action. You got to take some sort of action to change those things, and to adapt to any changes that are happening, you know, sort of on their own, beyond your control. Ace of Swords, again, we talked about already when we saw the others there. Truth, justice, clarity, victory. Very, very oh, look at that. I didn't realize before. When I picked up the Ace of Swords, there's another 10 of Pentacles here. So this is our third 10 of Pentacles, and I haven't even really done anything yet, although, you know, many people consider this like a mini reading, or the first part of the reading when I go through all the cards and stuff like that. So let's get to our next spread or to an actual spread. So I've done some cards already, but I didn't put them in a spread. Now I'm going to put some in a spread. So this Knight of Cups belongs in reverse. Ace of Swords upright. 10 of Pentacles was in reverse. Okay. Card most directly representing us this week. 10 of Cups. Very nice. Could definitely be what I was talking about in terms of love, being surrounded by love, family, legacy, all of that. Surrounding energy, close friends, family members, co-workers, stuff going on down at the job and whatnot is the 9 of Wands. That's the card I got the ink on. I don't know how I got ink on this card or any of the cards for that matter. But I feel it means something that it's on the 9 of Wands. And it looks like the woman is looking up at it. Like, it's like another fly she has to swat, another fire she has to put out. It's interesting. Work and finance. 6 of Swords. Can you see the 10 of Cups now? No. All right, 6 of Swords. Love and relationship. Strength. Very nice. Physical health. 9 of Pentacles in reverse. And spiritual health. 3 of Pentacles upright. And overall energy is the Knight of Cups in reverse. So I'm going to start off by saying somebody's, we say it a lot, but again, somebody's ex could be returning. I'm going to have to say it again. For me, a lot of times with the Knight of Cups, that can be what the Knight of Cups is about, an ex returning, and then seeing that we're in this place of the 10 of Cups as representing us this week. I think if that is the case for you, you know, it's a happy, it's a positive return. You're happy this person returned. It may even be wish fulfillment because, you know, with the preceding card, the 9 of Cups is about wish fulfillment, prayers being answered, wishes being granted, dreams coming true, goals being reached, and things being accomplished and stuff. And sometimes the 10 of Cups coming after it can be like the culmination of that or the realization of that. Like, so the cycle comes to an end because you had the wish fulfillment and you got it. So now that's end, and the next card is the Ace, of course. So looking at our overall energy, the Knight of Cups in reverse in tandem with this could definitely be about somebody's ex returning, and you'd be very, very happy about it if that happened. Or, you know, maybe not even an ex, but maybe just being reunited with someone, with a loved one that's possibly not even a romantic connection. Maybe it's a familial connection. I talked before about the thing with the siblings. It looks like there's actually 2 women on this card together. So maybe siblings being reunited or gathering for some reason, people gathering for some reason as a family. And it's a positive reunion. And I'm feeling that even if what got you there is maybe something, you know, otherwise not so positive, like maybe somebody's passing, maybe the family's getting together because of a funeral or something. But even if that's the case, I'm just feeling like everybody is, or there are people there who are very, very happy to be back together again, to be reunited again, whatever the circumstances. So, also, let me talk a little bit more about, I guess, about the 10 of Cups first. So, I mean, it's a card that points to happiness in general. And, you know, it can be about us thinking about happiness and joy in a more mature and sort of global way also. So it might be tied to the 22nd and, you know, the Pluto return. We are talking about the cups, right? So it's Pluto, it's Scorpio, potentially, energy that's causing us to feel this way. And, you know, so it can be about, again, thinking about other people and not just ourselves, and fellowshipping with other people, and just being, it's just a good card, really, regardless of why it shows up. It's one of those cards that's like positive all around. And, you know, this things should be going well. We might be feeling some concern in looking at it, again, with the Knight of Cups in reverse, but also with the card that represents the people that are surrounding us, the Nine of Wands. We may have some concern, maybe for family members, parents, siblings, children. But things are going well for them too, I think. Even if they might feel like they have a lot on their plates and overwhelmed, be overwhelmed by something or by the number of expectations of them there are, the amount of work, and they're just sort of feeling like I can't take on another thing, I can't do anymore. And so that would cause you concern because you care about them. Things are going to be going well for them too, ultimately, even if, again, it feels stressful for the moment. So moving specifically to the Nine of Wands, it's probably the card in the Suit of Wands where people start to get like, uh-oh, like the other cards are so much more positive in terms of the Suit of Wands. And then this one can be about anxiety, stress, just feeling like you have a lot to do, worry, like you're, that feeling of being burdened or just having a lot of, again, stuff on your plate, things to do. And it's really the universe showing up to say that you can handle it all. I guess like that saying, God doesn't give you more than you can handle, to deal with. And that saying is often said when something really shitty happens to us. People remind us of that, like, you'll get through this. I'm not feeling anything like that extreme with this Nine of Wands. But just that we just have, somebody has a lot on their plate and a lot that they're going through, a lot that they're dealing with, and they're trying to, maybe some financial stressors too, trying to make ends meet and juggling a bunch of stuff. But everything's going to be okay for them. And the first step for everything being okay is, like, if you have some emotions you have to work through, this person that's, in your surrounding energy, they have some emotions you have to work through, they should work through them. They should feel whatever they have to feel and then release that and be prepared to face whatever it is that they have to face, or the number of things they have to face, and just start knocking things off the list of stuff they got to do, without that fear. Like, the first step is definitely going to be like, take a deep breath and calm down and let that go, and then go out into the world and face what you have to face, and everything's going to be all right. Again, most of this, I was going to say half of it, most of it, it's like 90% attitude. Positive attitude is really what can get us through life, somewhat unscathed. Maybe one of the things they're stressed about is their job. Moving on to the Six of Swords, upright in terms of work. This can be about you deciding, or thinking about at least, it can come to the point where you're actually making the decision, though, this week to like leave your job, or to start the process of leaving your job, whatever that means, because you just feel like it no longer works for you, and maybe because you feel overwhelmed there, stressed out there for whatever reason. I actually have a client like that. I wonder if she's going to be having to face this week all of a sudden, because she's just been over her job for several months now, and talking about leaving and sort of preparing to leave. If you decide that this is the week, whether you're my client or you're not, the idea is to trust that the universe is taking you to where you want to be. So it's a good move. It's a positive move, and whatever it is you're going through and everything that's happening is happening for a reason. It's part of that grander plan and scheme that we're not privy to. But it's about trusting in yourself, trusting in the universe or God, or, whatever it is you believe. And you shouldn't be afraid to, like, seek help or information. This could be, again, where the Ace of Swords comes in. Information, clarity, understanding that helps you sort of get, I don't know, if you're starting a new job, especially, like, to get your footing, like, get your bearings on, like, your new environment. The Six of Swords can definitely point to, like, a literal change in the place that you do business. So, like, even for those who are not looking for a new job, you're in your, you plan on staying with your company. Maybe you get transferred, or you get a new office or something this week. Maybe it's tied to what I was talking about before when I, with the dice, when I said that the shoes, I had the feeling that the shoes were associated with somebody's job. So, maybe you get like new digs at work, new office, a new assignment. Or for those of you who are thinking about leaving, maybe you need new shoes. It's like, walking shoes. You need new shoes because you're on your way out of there. You decided to go, which is cool too. Specific to finances, this can literally mean that your financial, like the tide is turning. Think of the water in the background. There's almost like always a boat or somebody in a boat on the Six of Swords, whatever deck you're using. So it's like the tide is turning, and especially like if you've been struggling, things definitely getting better. I guess it could mean the reverse for people who've been sitting on top of the world too. It might be your turn for the tide to be turning for the worse. And maybe this is not your week financially. But overall, looking at all the cards, especially all the Tens of Pentacles, I definitely think that for the majority, this is about an uptick in your finances. And you might be encouraged to like treat yourself to something small. Maybe not get carried away, but treat yourself to something small, which is also something I said at the beginning of the reading without the cards. That maybe, for a change, you spend some money on yourself. In terms of, I think that was tied to buy shoes also. So maybe get yourself a new pair of shoes, or you get yourself something, a small something for you. Obviously, if you've been riding high on the surf and now it's a downturn for you, then just be prepared to, tighten your belt a little bit this week or whatever is required, to maybe save some money rather than splurging even on something small. Moving on to Major Arcana card 8, Strength for love and relationship. So Strength is a wonderful card in any and every placement, possible placement in which it lands. With love, it means that things should be going very well, just like our overall energy of the Knight of Cups, albeit in reverse. And if you're in a committed relationship, it's likely to be a very strong relationship, one where you feel there is mutual support, right? Mutual adoration, respect, and love. And, you hold each other up or down, however you want to look at it. So it's beneficial to both people. There's no one person in the relationship that's feeling like they're doing everything, they're carrying everything and the whole load, and the other person's just, skating by. It's equity and equality and all these wonderful things. If we're single and looking, then this is a really good time for us to get out and meet somebody and meet people in general. And it should be a really confident phase for us. The Strength card, Leos are very confident people. That the whole Wands energy, the Queen of Wands is known for, her confidence and intelligence and things. So it's that kind of energy that we're exuding when the Strength card shows up. And so we should feel really comfortable getting out there and mingling with other people. And we'll probably be very pleasantly surprised by, how things work out. Because again, there's a potential to meet somebody that has the makings along with you, in tandem with you, for a very strong and loving and, mutually reciprocal relationship, and what more could any of us ask for, right? So moving on to physical health. We have the Nine of Pentacles in reverse. Even in reverse is a very encouraging card with regard to health. But it does mean that we need to do our part. So it's like making sure that we're controlling the aspects of our health that we're able to control, such as, getting enough sleep, stay in bed, like the dice said, maybe taking a nap. Like, I felt the dice were suggesting to us having sex, maybe like the dice seem to be suggesting to us, making sure you squeeze that in, you're an adult and consenting and all that kind of stuff. And in the mood and want to, right? Eating right, and so on and so on, like all the things that we have in our control. If your gut if your gut tells you, so it's like definitely as a double, what they call a double entendre, a double entendre for those maybe not from this country or who didn't, and I don't think they even teach grammar anymore, so maybe who didn't learn this in school or whatever, is like a word or phrase that can be interpreted in more than one way. You know, and one of them is often like in, I don't know, like a funny way. I guess for lack of a better word, a way of explaining it. So I said gut. I chuckled to myself because I'm thinking, yeah, your gut, if you have a big gut, like I do right now, thanks to this pandemic and my not, you know, working out the way that I at all used to, then your gut could be telling you, sending you a message in terms of your health, or your gut in terms of the inside and gut feelings could be telling you a message. You know, if your gut tells you that you need medical advice or, you know, some kind of advice, maybe it's holistic or whatever it is, you know, then follow your gut. So whether that means because you're following it because it's fat or you're following it because you're getting a feeling of intuition. Sometimes I crack myself up. Don't mind me. Anyway, moving on to spiritual health. We have the Three of Pentacles upright, and this can be about like looking into sort of like ancient traditions, maybe even organizations. Like I mentioned in the Leo moon reading, for example, that my uncle had passed away not that long ago. And for example, so now looking at like all these tens of pentacles that are showing up in terms of family legacy, my uncle was a Mason, my uncle was an elk, you know, and he was like really high in these organizations, a mathematical whiz. I know people say a lot of stuff about, you know, the Masons and whatever, but, you know, I have different opinions. You know, there's a lot of talk. I mean, the same way people talk about things like serpents and reptilians. I have totally different thoughts and feelings on those subjects as well. I think that the majority of society has got it all wrong with regard to those. But I'm bringing up the Masons in particular because he was also a mathematical whiz, as was my grandmother, as am I, right? And some of you are aware of that. And so, like, with, you know, just with numbers and things in a different way, the Masons speak through numbers. That's one of the numerical languages that I was actually shown when I first had my spiritual awakening or reawakening or whatever you want to call it. So anyway, it could be things like that. I mean, I got a little bit off on a tangent when I got to the mathematical part, but thinking about family legacy, you know, before him, my Aunt Daisy was also an elk. I have a good friend who's a member of the Lions Club, is always trying to get me to their events and things like that. You know, so there could be something like that, some sort of ancient organization or tradition or belief system that your family maybe was into, or that you learn of, that you discover. And this thing can lead you into like a really new and wonderful and very deep level of insight for you right now. You know, you don't have to join. I'm not saying you have to run out and join an organization. Unless you want to, of course, then go ahead. But you can still get insights, maybe by doing some sort of research or reading about things. Maybe you see a movie about it. I don't know. And just like by simply reading about, you know, these belief systems and organizations, you know, you could really get, I don't know, somehow motivated by it. So you may want to learn more about like rituals from the past. And these are things that will deepen your spiritual understanding and practice as well, you know, should you so choose to do them. So maybe you go to the library or something this week. Or again, you learn something about a family member and decide to delve a little deeper into it. My great-grandmother read chicken bones, you know, that may be one of the things that led me to this. Like I said, my grandmother didn't go to school past the 6th grade, but could add and subtract and multiply in her head and knew the score to every game there was and was actually a number runner. You know, so these are things that are passed down in my legacy, the cards and my mother's also psychic, the numbers, all of it. Oh, I was about to shuffle again. I need to do that. We can get right into our cross. What am I doing? So, yeah, as I talk to you. Yeah, maybe those are kind of things you decide to look into, get into. I know that there are a lot of people who, you know, come from a family of witches or a family of people who, you know, practice voodoo or Santeria or who are, you know, Yoruba peoples or all kinds of things. Wicca, different Celtic practices and stuff like that. All sorts of stuff that we could be getting into and, you know, learning more about that maybe otherwise would have been handed down and should have been handed down but wasn't. So we have to like discover it on our own. Maybe that's what's coming through. Recent past. We have Major Arcana card 12, Awakening, with Archangel Gabriel. Look at things from a different perspective. You're at a temporary standstill. It is important to be yourself. Recent past. So this is actually, I mean, it's called Awakening in this deck. It's actually the Hangman. Hangman is a very spiritual card, so that could be what happened in the recent past. Maybe it's tied to what I was just talking about. You know, some sort of recent discovery or discovery that happens early this week that leads you to delve in deeper into some sort of spiritual practice or something. The Hangman can also be about a need to let go of something. For me, it's often emotions, often something that we can't, you know, hold in our hand. It's not, or you know, it's not an actual person. Maybe aspects of a relationship, but not, you know, throwing the actual person away. Letting go of something. I think it's going to be negative emotions. Again, based on what else is here with it. Look at things from a different perspective. You're at a temporary standstill. It's important to be yourself. When it says it's important to be yourself, it's like important to be honest with yourself about what you're feeling and who you are, and, you know, to be in your truth when you're looking at things from any perspective, from your own, or trying to see it from another person's, or hoping that somebody else will understand yours. You have to be really in your perspective, right? In your true energy. It's partnered here with the Eight of Wands. Events moving at a fast pace. Delays are over and things are happening. Many things are happening at once. So the Eight of Wands is a card that's known for being about communication. Again, people reaching out, maybe people that you haven't heard from. Talked about that in the beginning too, before I started the cards. You know, hearing from somebody, maybe even getting together with somebody, you know, reuniting with them, bumping into them. This could be reaching out. This could be the email that we talked about with the dice, keeping it short, sweet, to the facts. Eight of Wands is also about where something was stuck, was not moving, which can also be what the Hangman is about. So maybe you've been experiencing a situation or aspect of your life that was not moving, and this week, early this week, it begins to get moving, maybe rather suddenly. Maybe it goes from not moving, from being like, just feeling like we're hanging in the balance, to all of a sudden moving, you know, rather quickly. Could involve love, relationships, you know, maybe a particular person, a very romantic one, a King of Cups, who is trustworthy, compassionate, respected, and cultured. Maybe you've been in separation, maybe you haven't heard from this person in a long time, and then all of a sudden there's communication, like seemingly someone out of nowhere. And that could be perhaps with the energy of Tuesday as well. Because, you know, twos are about partnership and balance and relationship and love. So yeah, the King of Cups is possibly a Pisces, which is what the Hangman represents, or, you know, a Cancer or a Scorpio, or someone like into those traits or attributes that, you know, maybe isn't a water sign at all. He is trustworthy, compassionate, respected, and cultured. Open your heart and mind to those around you. Trustworthy and heartfelt advice and charity work. So this could also be something that maybe all of a sudden you experience someone being charitable and or generous with you, helping you through a situation that had been stuck. That can also be. And maybe if it's a particular person, they may be a direct water sign, but more importantly than that, they may come through as somebody who is just seemingly very balanced. So it's not someone who's afraid to talk about or talk through or help you through emotions and things. But this is also not somebody who's like wallowing all over the place and, falling over themselves in emotion. This is somebody whose ego and other emotions are in check and is well balanced in their energy. Near future. Wow. Isn't this something? Well, for one thing, let me start with the really good energies. The Ace of Wands, an exciting new opportunity, career advancement, change your life now. Of course, we know this can also mean wonderful things in love and in terms of family. The Ace of Wands can be about a new baby, pregnancy and all that. So it can be about sexual energy and maybe even the fact, the act of sex. So it's maybe this week that comes along where you hadn't had it in a while. But what's also interesting is mirroring this Hangman here. Major Arcana card 12, Awakening, or the Hangman, is this Hangman here. Another Major Arcana card 12, Awakening, immediately opposite it. Look at things in a different way, and all will make sense. Don't worry if your progress is halted temporarily. Things will soon start moving again. So again, we're talking about the possibility of something that seemingly not moving, stuck, just not going well. Then all of a sudden, boom, here comes the positive energy. And so what we may be moving on from very suddenly is something that felt harmful, hurtful, sad, painful, like loss, like separation, like betrayal to us. And all of a sudden, it turns into a better situation. Sadness is part of life, but you don't have to endure it alone. You may need a little time to heal, but once you work your way through the emotions, you'll be stronger than before. I think I used those exact words a little while ago, right? Like working through the emotions, and then after you deal with that, then you can move on. Oh, yeah, when I was talking about the Nine of Wands. So everything is, I think we're getting a lot of reconfirmation as we go along in this reading today. Message from our higher self. It's about our attitude, really. These are all minor arcana cards. So they're all things that we could, we have control over, whether or not these sort of things get to us, affect us, if we resonate with them or if we don't. So it's kind of like a warning from our higher self about the potential to be in a place of negativity. So we'll start with the Five of Pentacles. Focusing upon the negative or worrying about money or your career, and that's what the card says, but for me, I'd say it applies to any and everything. Just being negative and worrying about stuff can block your progress, period. This goes on to talk more about work, because your trust and faith are at a low point right now. It's not the best time to start your own business or to become self-employed. So, that can be a message for somebody, maybe as it relates to the work. We talked about work. We talked about wanting to leave a job, maybe even to start your own business. But not if you're feeling like this. Like, this is what you have to turn around. This is what you have to change and let go of before you make that Six of Swords move and leave your job. It's definitely going to be about the positive attitude. And to not have the positive attitude and to lack confidence puts us in a position of potentially, having our joy stealing or stealing our own joy, which is something that the Seven of Swords represents for me. Caution will help you to avoid the loss of valuables, including non-material resources such as time or peace of mind. Be aware of the results of your actions as well as what others might be doing behind your back. Seven of Swords can be about, so I did talk about the potential for someone's ex to return. If the Seven of Swords is tied to that, they may be coming back, but they're coming back as the same person. like they haven't really changed. So they're like fighting the energy of that death card maybe. And so that could be something to think about. But again, it can also be about you lacking confidence and not taking advantage of an opportunity. So in which case you steal your own joy. You rob yourself of the opportunity by not, putting yourself out there to attain it. Seven of Swords can also be about something that was lost or stolen, taken from you, missing from you, which may be what something like the Three of Swords represents. But then again, we have restoration or recovery or something new at least coming in, maybe to replace it. Similarly here, we have something that we may have to let go of, so it's lost to us, but then something else comes in to replace it. So it kind of goes along with what I was saying about the Six of Swords in terms of being put in a better situation, a better place, being put right where you need to be, and things happening for a reason. The last card there was the Ten of Wands. You're working far too hard and the stress will soon become too much. Reach out for help from others and take some time to play and to enjoy life. And so this, I think, goes along with what I was saying at the beginning of the reading in terms of the dice. Like, we always worried about the work that we're supposed to be doing or whatever. If you feel to take a nap, and you have opportunity to take a nap, take a damn nap. And then you don't have to take it literal in terms of a nap. It can be anything. You feel the need to do whatever. Maybe take a break from some work that you don't really have to do, that you would otherwise do, because we're constantly pushing ourselves and pushing ourselves and pushing ourselves, to produce and to perform, and not taking the breaks that we need. And that would also go along with the Nine of Pentacles in reverse in opposition of health, right? That's something that's in your control. It's within your control to take some time out for yourself, away from the things that make you feel, down. And they bring your vibration down. And you should take some time away from those things. 3D life. The Four of Swords. So this is recovering maybe from a situation where we were down. This is possibly deciding on whether or not to travel. Starting the plans of traveling, taking a trip, or making some sort of other decision in our lives that may require us to, to meditate on it and to think and to sleep on it, as they say. This can also be a card suggesting that we get some actual sleep. Maybe stay in bed should be taken literal by some people. Thoroughly think things through before making a decision. Continuing to overanalyze isn't going to get you any closer to a resolution, but meditation and prayer will bring you the answers that you seek. So what does that mean? It's talking about manifestation. It's saying, like, wallowing in self-pity and crying and emotions and stuff. Like, if you have to work through those things, definitely work through them. Get that out. And then get to, the prayer or the focused intention on what you do want to happen. The manifestation part. This decision or thinking or situation may involve some disappointment, either present or past disappointment. That could what has us in our, stuck in our heads, can be past disappointment in terms of a situation that we're dealing with now. Things not turning out the way you'd hope, not seeing the positive in a situation and crying over spilled milk. And the situation may have to do with, again, the return of an ex, possibly some sort of soulmate, and or our family or children, specifically children. Or something else from our past about which we're emotional or in which we're like emotionally invested. Memories from your history or childhood. Issues regarding children and romanticizing the past. This can also be us thinking about, again, getting into some sort of ancient tradition or practice, maybe that's, in our family, that our ancestors practiced. So it's something from our past life, and we're thinking about getting involved, maybe. The heart of the matter. Oh, look at all these swords. The Nine of Swords, so there's some worry, expecting the worst, self-fulfilling prophecy, sleepless nights. So like I was talking about, like maybe something from our past has us being doubtful, has us being pessimistic, has us feeling disappointed, or being having a level of expectation to be disappointed. Should definitely try to shake all that off. Because that can lead to self-fulfilling prophecies. Again, it's like 90% attitude is everything that we're dealing with going through life. It's here partnered with the Six of Swords, a much more positive card. So here I talked about the potential of like planning a vacation, planning to travel. Six of Swords could be actual travel. Maybe there's worry about that. Maybe we're traveling to see somebody, or somebody's traveling to see us, an ex or something, or maybe something, again, involving our children or our family. And so there's some worry and you know, again, past pessimism, you know, based in some situation we experienced in our past that's associated with that. But here we are thinking about actually really traveling, or the traveling is getting underway. Things are looking up. It's the end of a difficult situation. So even though we have these feelings of anxiety and sleepless nights about it, it's the end of a difficult situation. So we should be turning our you know, focus around, definitely to more positive. And for some of us, yes, we may even be taking a trip. This could be about travel. And possibly travel to see, to visit, or travel along with a Knight of Cups, who is emotional, romantic, enthusiastic, and contemplative. Falling in love or wedding proposals. The need to balance emotions and an invitation to a social event. If you get that invitation to a social event, I do encourage you to go. The Knight of Cups may be an actual Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces, or someone likened to those traits or attributes, and can be an ex. We talked about Knight of Cups for me sometimes being about an ex returning. Crossing that is the Four of Pentacles. So there's something of which we need to let go. Again, probably some sort of negative emotion if we want to. So what we need to let go of is the nine of air. Whatever is making us feel like the Nine of Swords way is what we need to let go of. That may be a relationship, a living condition, a job, whatever. If we want to have this kind of emotional you know, healing and fulfillment and feel like we're moving on from a situation, this is what we need to let go of. Be cautious about living a life of extremes or seeing things in black and white terms. Consider, for example, whether you're spending too much versus hoarding your wealth, or giving too much emotionally versus building up walls that keep people out. For me, the Four of Pentacles is a card that talks about that feeling, that energy, where you go to this job every day and you can't stand it, and you know how it just makes you feel like the Nine of Wands, right? But you keep going. You can't stand it. You can't stand the people there. They can't stand you. Everybody hates everybody. But you're like, but you know, at least I get a paycheck. So you keep going and you keep going and you keep going, knowing that that's not the job for you. You need to let that go. The same thing can be true of relationships, a living condition, right? A situation, and whatever it is for you that's causing you to feel, to be all up in your head and to have the sleepless nights, that's causing the Nine of Swords to show up, is what you need to let go of so that you can experience the Knight of Cups and the Six of Swords instead. Specific to love and relationship, we have the three. Oh, this is beautiful. This is beautiful. We have the Queen of Swords, first and foremost, who is independent, experienced, realistic, and witty, objective decision-making, clearing away all that no longer serves you, and seeing the humor in the situation. And we may specifically have some air and water romantic situations happening this week. So Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, combinations happening. Aside from that, the Queen of Swords is somebody who has been made prepared to deal with life, the good, the bad, the ups, the downs, and all that, based on her past experiences. Right? So they've all gotten her ready, and she uses it all to decide how to move, how to navigate through life. This is what she has to navigate through in love this week. The Two of Cups and the Three of Cups. How awesome is this? So this could definitely be reunions and reconciliation of people that have been in separation, as I talked about, Three of Cups, you have an exciting reason to celebrate, such as an engagement, wedding, graduation, or birth announcement. Remember to cherish those you love. So that's that. Now, the Three of Cups, in a general sense, not even having anything specific to do with love, is about reunions with someone, or positive reunions with someone or something. So we get something back or someone back in our lives this week that makes us very, very happy, is one of the meanings of the Three of Cups, rather. Alternatively, this card is encouraging us to be social, to go out, to have fun, to spend time with other people, to collaborate, to be in a part of groups, that are having a good time, that are fellowshipping, that are sharing love among one another. So just like I mentioned here a moment ago, it said that the Knight of Cups can mean you're invited to a social event. And I said, if you are, go. Okay, this is you, again, getting a message that you need to go. Also, we could be celebrating something. There could be a birth announcement, a wedding, an anniversary. We talked about that too, a birthday this week that we're encouraged to celebrate, or that we are celebrating, and that's wonderful. And that, whatever the situation is, it could definitely bring us closer in partnership with somebody. So I would say not necessarily romantic partnership, but this is specifically the love placement. So romantic partnership with somebody with whom we see eye to eye. We are feeling each other. There's a vibe definitely between us, and the makings for a real relationship, and probably the underpinnings of, soulmate situation, like a real connection at a level that we have no control over. Is what this Two of Cups is talking about. A relationship that continues to grow closer. Forgiveness and the positive resolution of a conflict. And what is crossing that? Justice. The scales are being, balanced. They're being balanced in your favor. With Major Arcana card 8, Justice, represents the sign of Libra. That could be who the Queen of Swords is. A Libra energy, or it could be Venus, currently located in Capricorn. Fair decisions will be made after all of the evidence is reviewed impartially. Have compassion for others and try to see all sides of a disagreement. I even see, even though there's no sad cards here, I even see a victory, like a divorce finalizing or something here. I guess with the Justice is giving me that, with the Two of Cups and the Queen of Swords. And so that's a reason to celebrate too. Maybe you want to have one of those divorce parties or something. I didn't use these, so let's go around and do one. So for the recent past, hope. So joining this pile here in the recent past, we have hope, love, and acceptance. Love is yours. Recognize your divine worth. Choose loving thoughts. That's joining the King of Cups, the Eight of Wands, and the Hangman. Near future. Joining the Ace of Wands, the Three of Swords, and the other Hangman. We have Venus, Lady Venus, downloads and understanding. Truth is being revealed. Deep insights are coming from heaven and the astral realm. Message from the higher self. Joining the Seven of Swords, the Five of Cups, and the Five of Pentacles, right? Was that it? I'm sorry. The Ten of Wands, the Five of Pentacles, and the Seven of Swords. We have Kuan Yin, care and compassion. Choose to be love and do what is right for everyone involved. Offer a helping hand. 3D life. We have light activation with Sanat Kumara. Shine your light. Your internal guidance is coming through loud and clear. So when you do this meditation, and thinking about your situation, you are going to get the answers that you need, according to Sanat Kumara. At the heart of the matter, we have Horus, cosmic gateway. Your thoughts are magnetic and powerful. Miraculous changes are occurring. Where are those miraculous changes occurring? We're going from a place of stress and sleepless nights to things moving in a positive direction and the energy of the Knight of Cups. Emotional fulfillment. Again, if we can let go of the negativity of the Nine of Swords. And last but not least, joining the love and relationship placement, we have Paul the Venetian, experiencing grace. Share your gifts with grace. Waves of inspiration and love are coming to you. And that's what I have for you this week. I hope you guys have enjoyed the weekly reading. If you want to stick around for just a quick second, not much is going on this week, but I will quickly open my computer and tell you what is going on. There we go. So first and foremost, on the 22nd, which is this day I've been talking about all throughout the reading, the date of Pluto's return, February 22nd, is also the feast day on the Christian calendar of the Chair of St. Peter. So what is the Feast of the Chair of St. Peter? Basically, it's like a celebration of Peter's contributions and his leadership. So it celebrates like his authority and the community he built around the teachings of Christ, sort of recognizes him as like, the president of the club, the chairman. And there are actually some beautiful chairs at some of these churches around the world in honor of this feast day, which is interesting. So that's Tuesday, February 22nd. Nothing on the Hebrew or Islamic calendars. So moving on to the planetary calendar, that one's pretty uneventful as well. Today's the 20th. So the next thing is February 23rd at 5:16 p.m. Uneventful other than February 22nd, which again is the Pluto return. February 23rd at 5:16, we have Jupiter being semi-square to Pluto. So Jupiter will be at 12 degrees Pisces, and Pluto will be at 27 degrees Capricorn. Maybe that's why I was made to mention that Venus was in Capricorn. So Pluto will be there. Pluto, Saturn, Mars, and Venus, 4 planets. Also on February 23rd at 5:32 p.m., so a few minutes later, we'll experience the last quarter moon at 5 degrees Sagittarius. Then the next thing isn't until February 28th, and that doesn't even really fall into the parameters of this reading, but I'll tell you, at 12:30 p.m., Jupiter will be quintile the true node, which is now Taurus, having left Gemini. Jupiter will be 13 degrees Pisces, and the true node will be 25 degrees Taurus. And that's it. So again, I hope you guys have enjoyed the reading. Please do like, share, subscribe, and comment. Supposedly the engagement helps. I do appreciate it. And, maybe one day we will sort of conquer over the people that are sending the negative energy to make it be shadow banned. I don't know. I'm kidding. But thanks. I do appreciate it. Namaste.